Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome to our guest expert interview. Today, I've got an amazing guest, and I cannot wait for you guys to meet. So, let me bring her on and we can just get started. Hey, Larissa.
Hello, Sarah. How are you?
I am doing awesome. How are you?
Excellent, excellent. I am so looking forward to being here and having a conversation with you today.
I know I'm really excited too. I know we had a great conversation the first time we met, and I just could not wait to bring you, let our community hear about you and what you do. So I'm really excited. So, Larissa, tell us a little bit about you.
All right, where do I get started? There's always so much to share.
I know.
I am a personal growth addict. I love the world of personal growth and development, and I remember I entered this world because I had these preconceived notions that I wasn't good enough and that I wasn't comfortable with myself. And I remember way back in the day, the first self-help book I picked up was actually How to Start a Conversation and Make Friends. And this was from the library. It's an old book from the 1970s. It's teeny tiny. And I remember reading it and going to have a conversation with someone in high school, and it actually worked. And so that really started piquing my interest and moving me forward and starting to grow and develop and learning about how people work, learning about how the mind works. And flash forward many years, I have a vast library, and I've worked with countless mentors all over the globe. I've worked with Tony Robbins, Bob Proctor, so many wonderful individuals. And I really, truly feel that my life has absolutely changed. I'm not sure about many of your audience's backgrounds, but I know I grew up with a really scarcity-driven mindset. My grandparents were immigrants, and they didn't have a lot. They were very hard workers. They taught me how to work my fingers to the bone, and they taught me to value the things I did have, but they never taught me how to think bigger. And so this always led to this smallness, this if I'm not working hard, I'm not worthy mentality. And that's something I tended to carry through so much of my adult life until I decided to wake up and realize there was more out there. And I think so often we get stuck in our paradigms, and we get stuck in what we think we should be or how we've grown up, and we aren't able to really step outside of ourselves. And that is something that happens whether you're in business, whether you're in work, or in any walk of life. And you can put down the purse, right? Women, like, I don't know about you, but I carried around a heavy purse for so many years, like literally a heavy purse. I'm like, what else can I put in here? I've got lipstick, I've got pens, I've got a couple books, I've got,
it's heavy, always heavy purse.
Always Absolutely. Heavy purse. And I remember so much of my life, I used to carry around a heavy purse. And one day I stopped and I put it down. And it was like a weight had been lifted from me. And it was the same thing when I really started to dive into this idea of mindset work, and not just on a superficial level by reading a book, but really diving deep into the inner depths of my soul and who I was meant to be, what I was meant to do, what I was ignoring, and what I was lying to myself about. And as soon as I actually took the time to do that, because before I was always so busy with work, never take the time to put myself first, that was when I truly started to love and appreciate myself. And that's something I find so many women do. I work with high achieving women, and women put so many people before themselves.
Absolutely. There are 2 points that you mentioned that I can really relate with. One of them being, that self-doubt at a young age. And funny enough, my daughter and I, like 2 minutes before we got on, were just talking about that. It doesn't matter what age you are. Women especially struggle with some type of imposter syndrome. self-doubt.
Yeah.
So it can be at any age. You could come from anywhere, around the world. And as far as, your parents being immigrant and not knowing, that's all they know,
Yeah.
right? That's all they know. And the same thing with me, my parents, my siblings, we all worked hard all our lives. And until I was introduced to this online space and the coaching space, and I'm like, there is a different way of earning, there's a different way of living. So, the imposter syndrome, the self doubt, that started to go away as you look deep and deeper to yourself and start having, this self love and self value. So it really makes a huge difference. And I'm glad you're doing this. And we're doing this in our community, because I know there are a lot of women that can really relate to this and connect with this. So I so appreciate you for that. So, Larissa, tell us what you do and how you serve, and who do you serve?
Yeah, this is I am CEO of Abundance Academy, and I'm a master results coach. I work with the mind. I work with the power of the mind and how you relate to it. And I share that with people, and I help women stop spinning their wheels. I help women overcome anxiety, banish limiting beliefs so they can free themselves and unapologetically create the life and business they want and love. I help them do it with ease, with joy and flow, because everything that we get to is organic and authentic for them. And so often we get into these preconceived notions and we fit ourselves into these boxes, and that's not our truth. Oh, have an alarm going off. And so I help women find their truth so they can show up for their families, so they can show up in their lives, so they can show up in their businesses and let the purse go. I teach them to put down the purse. And it
Mm,
seems so simple, yet so many people that I work with don't want to take the time to look at it because deep down they're afraid.
I see.
And it can get really exciting when you have been avoiding yourself or drowning yourself in work because you don't
Mhm.
want to face the challenges you have in your relationships or in your life. It can
Right.
be a little bit intimidating when you have to say, oh, this is what I want, and I'm not doing what I think everyone else wants me to do. I'm actually stepping up, owning my truth. And whether it works or not, what if I fail is often people's big fear. I'm still following my dream. I'm still following my passion. I'm still stepping up no matter what. And that's just an empowering place to be. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, and as moms, we always put everybody else first before we put ourselves first. That's one challenge. And the number two challenge, as you know, is being afraid, being afraid to explore what we want. We know we have desire, but we just never put down the bag. You just never, unravel to see what it is that we want, or even go after it. You feel like you're being selfish, right? When you go after your dream, you feel like you're being selfish, you're putting yourself ahead. So I'm glad you're teaching this, because we as women, we need that, because we have been taught all our lives that family first, or don't be selfish. That's the thing, don't be selfish. That's what you grow up with. Or
Yeah.
don't talk too much, things like that, that really limits a lot of women, number one, from going after their dream, and number two, even being visible,
Yeah.
right?
And even especially women, and men too. I do work with a handful of men, but I find so often people don't even have a dream. And
Mm,
they think they do, but so many people, I know I got into this business by default and then I designed it. Some people have this vision for the future. This one, I was like, my gut is saying I need to jump into this. Now is the right time. I am scared. I have no plan. I have no vision, but I know there's something in me, something in the back of my mind that was saying I have to take this leap. And so I didn't have my vision for this cultivated before I jumped into my current business. And so often people don't take the time to even cultivate a vision for their life. They don't take the time
yeah.
to create that vision for their family, right? When
Ah,
you create the intention for how you want to sit at the dinner table, it sounds so basic, but like, how do you want your dinners to be? Do you actually want to sit down as a family, or do you want to take your meals to a computer? What kinds
mm,
of conversations do you want to have? That's something especially business owners overlook. because they're so busy being productive, taking their kids to all sorts of activities. But really, what do you want your family life to look like? What experiences do you want to have with those you love and care for the most? What do you want in terms of lifestyle? What do you want in your actual career? Not what other people think that you should be doing. What do you want? If you close your eyes and dare to dream, like, do you want to be on the cover of a magazine? Do you want to be on Oprah? Do you want to do a TED Talk? What is your dream? And what are those secret things that you might be afraid to admit?
Yeah. And what are the memories you want to create for your children, right? You want them to explore at a young age. So when they grow up, they know what they want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there is a false notion that in order to start your business, you have to figure it all out. And but that's not true. You can build it as you fly. Especially, you don't want to build it without knowing what kind of experience or what kind of result it is really providing. And without having a proof of concept, you don't want to build it completely to just turn around, tear it down.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of people doing that, jumping from one idea to another to another. So what advice do you give to people that are scared to start? They have great idea, but they're afraid to start.
Yeah, I would say if you don't need to know the full picture, right? Your vision for your future will evolve as you do. Your plan will get more clear as you gain more experience, as you review, as you reflect, as you refine and repeat, repeat, repeat. You can only know if something is working if you've actually tested it. And once, like, if you have your vision, you've got this idea of where you're going. It's like the big North Star that's way up there. You move in that direction. However, opportunities might come that veer you slightly off course, and you've got to be willing to be flexible. However, you need to know the direction you're headed. And so I remember one of my colleagues gave me advice. She's like, I was teaching back when I was working in the Pilates industry. I was teaching my very first workshop. It was like a 3-day workshop. I knew the content. However, it was my first time presenting this material to a group. And so I was nervous, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I wanted to have my whole plan set out for all 3 days. And she's like, girl, stop. Because she taught this workshop for like 10 years prior to me doing this. And she's like, okay, you know the stuff. You've reviewed it. You've done this. Don't go checking out all the timelines right now. Your job is to make an outline for day one. After day one, you pause, you see where you got to, because it might change. After day one, you prep day two and make an outline for day two. And then you do day two. And then after day two, you come, you see where you're at, you course correct, and you make your plan and do your prep for day three.
Day three. That's such a great idea.
And you do day three, and then you're done. And it was like so obvious, so basic, but so often we think we have to have the whole thing figured out.
We complicate it. We complicate it so much.
And it can change. So I follow that advice. I remember it. And some people are like, well, aren't you worried about this thing that you have to teach on Thursday, right? I'm creating a new workshop that I'm presenting on Thursday. It's the same topic, but I'm changing the content entirely to make it more valuable for the clients. And someone's like, aren't you like worried that it's not done? Your slides aren't done. Like, I'm like, I have the idea in my head. I know where I'm going. I've done one set of the outline. I know it's going to get done, and I'll do it over here. And it didn't have to get done 3 days in advance, 5 days in advance, right? It's take the next step, take the next step, take the next step, and show up. Be fully present. Don't be worried about everything else you have to do. If I was sitting here thinking about the 10 other things I could be doing right now, we couldn't have this conversation, because the fact is we can't multitask. Our brains are not designed to multitask.
Not at all.
I love, there's an exercise I read in The Myth of Multitasking. It's an awesome book where
such a myth
tests your ability to multitask. And I've used it. And it's like you have a 30 to 60% reduced effectiveness when you multitask. So just focus on what you're doing and take more breaks if you need.
Yeah. You know, the context switch that we're doing, we don't realize how much time it takes us to refocus, and we lose a lot of time and productivity when we do that. But I'm glad you talked about keeping things simple, because often people complicate things so much they end up not showing up. Right.
Yeah.
I've done that in my days, in my early days, trying to prepare for an entire week for a workshop. And you make it so complicated, by the time you get done and it's time to do the workshop, you're already exhausted. Right? You're already exhausted. So keep it simple, just show up. I mean, we know what we're teaching. Yeah. We
What?
don't have to have the slideshow. We don't have to have everything written down. So I so appreciate you for mentioning that, and I'll keep that in mind. So that's great. Now, aside from mindset, there's another, thing that you do. I'm calling it thing in your business. Tell us a little bit about it.
All right. So I do mindset work, and I also I'm not which do you can you give me a hint as to which thing you're referring to? We do a couple of things.
Go ahead. Besides
Okay.
mindset, what do you do?
So we do mindset. I'm gonna just how about I just categorize mindset into two different categories?
Go
Okay.
for it.
So in terms of mindset, it's all mindset regardless of what it is. And so I work with mindset in two capacities. So first, I work with people to help them see what they're truly capable of and help empower them to do it. This is like, let's create that vision. Let's find your dreams and let's go for it. Let's find that juice and that fire under your backside to get you going. And I think that's so beautiful. And the fact is, there are some people that have done all the work. They've gone to all the seminars, just like I did. They've invested the time, they've invested the money. And even though they've done these mindset tools, they're still stuck. And it's like you get spinning your wheels, spinning your wheels, spinning your wheels. And there's just something that they aren't able to break through on their own. So what I do is I have a one-on-one process that I work through with select clients. It's not for everyone. I firmly believe everyone needs a breakthrough. Not everyone is ready for one, but for those that are really, truly committed to themselves and they're like, I am done with this. I don't want to go to therapy for a decade to explore this stuff that's getting in my way. I don't want to go to 10 more seminars. I don't want to try to keep listening to YouTube videos and reading books to figure this out. I know there's something going on in there, but I don't know what it is. So I work with women one-on-one to help them uncover like the actual root cause of their problems and eliminate them very, very fast. And we do that in a breakthrough process. And like 90% of our work is done over the course of a month. So if you think of it in terms of the typical therapeutic model, 90% of the work is done within a month because they're all unconscious tools that we use. And you were talking about your daughter, and I love that you're bringing this way of thinking into your daughter's world, because I know when I was younger, my mom didn't bring it in because she didn't know, right? We all do the best we can. However, most of the programming and most of the conditioning we have is instilled in us prior to 7 years of age. And that stays with us. It's an event that we experienced. It's something we heard. It's something we saw. And it's out of our conscious realm of awareness. It's like someone took the lid off our minds, put a whole bunch of stuff in, put it back on and said, go out in the world. And you don't know what impact that will have on you later. But the choices you make, the ways you perceive the world are determined by that stage of life. And so this is what we help people release, because you didn't work hard to get some of your conditioning that's not serving you. You didn't have to spend a lot of time practicing it. You have practiced it since, but to initially get that jolt of, I'm making this decision to avoid people so I don't get hurt. I'm making this decision to sabotage myself so that I don't have to feel guilty for earning too much money. These beliefs, these programs were instilled in us so early. And so that's what I help people do really, really quickly is shift those around so that they can actually have the belief system that they want, so they can feel good about themselves and let the baggage go super, super fast. And that's what I've been doing. And I'm so incredibly passionate about it, because I know I used to go to Tony Robbins seminars. I don't know if you guys have been to Tony Robbins. Amazing. I love it.
I have watched it. I have not been in person, but it is incredible.
Okay. You've got to go in person when opportunity arises.
I will.
Unbelievable. However, I'm not the person that can jump up, breathe 3 times and have a breakthrough. I'm like, Tony, please pick me, fix me. I had all these problems. I'm like, please pick me, but don't pick me. I didn't want the attention, but I really wanted his help. And so it's that type of work, that type of intensity, that type of breakthrough that we do, just not on a public setting in
Mhm.
front of thousands of people, right? It's that level of depth that we have within this process. And I remember when I first had my own breakthrough from a coach, when I stepped into an accidental training, it
Mm.
was mind blowing. I was able to let go of things that I didn't know were problems. There were things I thought I'd gotten over and I wasn't. And as soon as I let that go, the world just opened up. I was so much lighter. I was free to actually live my life on purpose, to pursue my business, to do the things I wanted to do, to be the mother I wanted to be for my son. And that was huge. Like you can't deny
Larissa,
that.
this is incredible. This is such an amazing story. And I cannot imagine that fulfillment that you get when you give your clients this transformation, this breakthrough.
Yeah.
So amazing. It's such a fulfilling, position to be in.
Remember one of my clients, relatively recent. She's like, Larissa, I've hated myself my entire life. Like
Mm,
I've never loved myself. I've never respected myself. There's always been something wrong with me. And she holds a fairly good position. She's
wow.
respected in her community. She's successful. People know her. And she's like, I've, I've, I've hated myself and I've done things to hurt myself. And she did these things behind closed doors to hurt herself because she didn't think she was worthy. She didn't think she was lovable. And literally within 2 sessions, she's like, yeah, people were going to me like, what's gotten into you? You're so quirky. And she's like, I just love life. Like life is so beautiful. And that was within 2 sessions.
I know. I mean,
We haven't even gotten to the big work yet. But she was so tired of it. She's like, I don't want this, but I don't know how to get out of it.
and
And
this goes to tell you what, we don't know what people struggle with behind the closed doors.
yeah,
We assume, like, when you see somebody has, a great position, or they show up on social media, they think they have it all made, but that's not always true.
yeah. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. I think sometimes
No.
there's this fear that we'll be shamed for feeling certain things or behaving certain ways or for doing certain things, but we do the best we can with the skills, tools, and resources we have. And sometimes we make some very strange choices.
Yeah, actually, we should be proud that, number one, acknowledging the problem, that's one step. And
Mhm.
number two, asking for help, as hard as it is,
Absolutely.
that's like the biggest step. If you don't ask for help, you're not going to get help. Then
Mhm.
you're going to be stuck in that place forever.
Yes, we call it vicious independence. That's something I learned from Dr. Kim Redman. That term, vicious
Mm.
independence. I was definitely in it for a long, long time, and I didn't even realize it.
Yeah. And you want to show that strong face, like that I'm independent, I'm strong. You want to show that face, but and then deep inside you're struggling.
Yeah,
Now, which one do you want to pick? Do you want to get over that struggle and be, live a truly happy, authentic life? Or you just want to show, have that mask forever and ever,
yeah.
right?
We've started a research study of high achieving women, and we're still in the process of it. But some of the results that we've found is most high achieving women, they're not seeking more money, they're not seeking more fame, they're not seeking a whole bunch of crazy stuff. They're seeking peace.
Mm-hmm.
Peace was the big word that came up. It's peace, even more than love. Peace was like the thing that most people are seeking. And I was not surprised, but I was a little surprised because I thought there would be some other aspect to it. But peace was the word that just kept coming up and coming up and coming up. And people just want peace of mind. People want peace in their world. People want this sense of good. And I think peace is a beautiful word. It's so pure. It's so calm, and it's so accepting.
It is important because from peace, you can have that clear mind and do anything else that you want. But
Yeah,
if you don't have that mental peace, you can't do anything,
yeah,
right? You can't think clearly. You don't know what your vision is. Peace is definitely the most important thing. I
Yeah.
agree. I agree with the study that you did. Well, Larissa, this was great. I'm so glad, you were able to make it. I'm happy we got a chance to chat. Thank you so much for sharing all these incredible, tips and, the experience that you've had, from your growing and the breakthrough that you had. Now, where could people find you?
All right. I can be found on LinkedIn. It's probably the best place to find me right now. It's the most place I am the most visible. So you can look me up on LinkedIn. I'm just my name, nothing else. And I mean, if people are interested in really exploring this idea of vision casting, I'm happy to send you. I have a vision casting worksheet with a training tutorial that I've actually put together that people can walk through.
Yeah,
And I
send
think
it
this is
over.
I'll send you the link. This is a process that I was frustrated with because I didn't think I was doing right.
Mhm.
And as soon as I had some guidance and some structure, it was a game changer for me. And it's been a game changer for so many other people. So I just wanted to really share that because I think we can all dream bigger. We can all show up even better and really move forward with our lives in beautiful, beautiful ways.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely send me the link. We'll include it in the show notes and then
Yeah.
we'll also post it in the group so other people can participate. But thank you so much, Larissa. It was great having you. I had a lot of fun chatting with you and we'll talk to you again.
Excellent.
All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this interview with Larissa. She left us with a lot of great tips. I'll definitely include the link to the workshop in the show notes and in the caption of this video. We'll see you again next Monday for another guest expert interview. Have a nice day.